First, I would like to introduce Attorney Gloria Allred, who is here today with her clients, Bobby Davis and Mike Long. Ms. Allred.
Thank you very much, Assemblymember Markey. I'm here today in Albany, New York, with my clients, Bobby Davis and Mike Lang, to announce our wholehearted support for A 5488 by Assemblymember Margaret Markey, which would extend the statute of limitations for the filing of criminal and civil actions involving child sexual abuse. The bill, if passed into law, would open a one-year window for victims who would otherwise be barred from suing, and would allow victims to file a lawsuit against those responsible for the harm inflicted upon them. Bobby Davis is 40 years old. Mike Lang is Bobby's stepbrother and is 45 years old. In a lawsuit which we have filed against Syracuse University basketball coach James Boeheim and Syracuse University, and which is now pending in New York, Bobby Davis alleges that he was regularly sexually abused by Bernie Fine, who was in a position to gain access to him. Fine was formerly a senior member of the coaching staff of the Syracuse University men's basketball team. Mike Lang also alleges in his lawsuit that Fine repeatedly sexually abused him after Fine met him when Lang began delivering newspapers to Fine's home, and both men allege that they've suffered profoundly from Fine's extended and violent abuse. They also allege that they were both ball boys for the Syracuse University men's basketball team, and that Fine traded on the prestige and power of his coaching position to gain access to both Bobby and Mike. Bobby, Mike, and I feel that it is long overdue for those who have committed acts of child sexual abuse to be held accountable. Opening up a one-year window would allow Bobby and Mike to file a lawsuit and to seek justice. Without it, they will be denied their day in court against the alleged perpetrator of their child sexual abuse. In 1984, I filed a lawsuit in California on behalf of Rita Mia, who had been sexually abused by 7 Catholic priests and had a baby by one of them. Rita had delayed filing a lawsuit before she came to me because the church kept promising to help her, but they never did. After we filed a lawsuit for her, the California Court of Appeals ruled in part that Rita could not seek justice because she had waited too long before filing and that the statute of limitations had run out. The court was not going to permit Rita to go to trial, and it appeared that neither the archdiocese nor the priest would ever have to answer for their conduct. The battle was not over, however. A bill was introduced into California which would open a one-year window for victims, such as Rita, who had been time barred by the previous law, and which would allow those victims to file or refile their case. Rita and I publicly supported this bill, and Governor Gray Davis signed it into law in California in 2002. As a result, the new law, similar to what is being proposed by Assemblymember Markey, opened the courthouse door, at least for a short time, for victims who had had it shut in their face in the past. Because of the new window, we were able to refile Rita's case, which we did. After litigating it, we were successful in winning a $500,000 settlement from Rita. The District Attorney William Fitzpatrick of Onondaga County has stated publicly in a news conference that he believes Bobby Davis and Mike Lang, but that the statute of limitations bars him from prosecuting in their case. We believe that perpetrators of child sexual abuse should not be able to abuse the trust of victims and then hide behind the statute of limitations. We also believe that institutions and employers that know or have reason to know or who are otherwise on notice of any unlawful sexual conduct by an employee and who fails to take reasonable steps and implement reasonable safeguards to avoid future acts of unlawful sexual conduct should also be held accountable. Bobby and Mike have demonstrated enormous courage in coming forward. They did so in large part because they wanted to protect other children from the abuse that they allege that they suffered. We thank and commend Assemblymember Markey for introducing this important bill. We plan to do everything possible to support it so that Bobby, Mike, and all adult survivors of child sexual abuse in New York can receive the full measure of justice that they so rightly deserve. And now it is my honor to introduce Bobby Davis. Mike will not be making a statement, but he is here definitely in support of us. Bobby.
I'd like to thank Assemblywoman Margaret Markey and my attorney, Gloria Allred, for inviting me here today. I have come to Albany to show my support for the Child Victims Act, A 5488, Markey. I believe that this bill is very important because its primary concern is to protect our children. Children need to be our main focus because they are innocent and vulnerable. Because of my personal experience, I feel that the current law does not protect the victim, but instead protects the abuser. Children need to know we have their back. Our justice system needs to allow us to fight for our children and to stand up for them and by them, and so that they feel safe and feel confident to tell the truth and have access to justice. I was a child when I was sexually abused. Coming forward then against someone so revered in our community was not an option for me. Also, when I did call the police department and the university, they did not do anything meaningful. This proposed law would make child predators accountable so that they cannot hide behind the statute of limitations and avoid responsibility for the sexual abuse of children. I hope and pray that everyone in both political parties will come together and realize that this bill is essential in protecting our children. We need to do all that we can to pass this bill into law. Mike and I plan to return to Albany with Ms. Allred to meet with legislators to urge their support also. The time to pass this bill is now. Thank you.